Carlos Ulberg made a resounding statement at UFC Perth, delivering one of the most decisive performances of his career by knocking out Dominic Reyes in the very first round. The light heavyweight clash was billed as a pivotal bout for both fighters, and it certainly lived up to the anticipation, at least for Ulberg and his team. With this victory, Ulberg extended his winning streak to 9 fights, solidifying his status as one of the division's fastest rising contenders. The fight began with Reyes looking composed and determined, eager to continue his recent resurgence after securing 3 consecutive wins. Many fans and analysts believed this bout could mark his full return to title contention. However, Ulberg's composure and calculated pressure quickly shifted the momentum. From the opening exchanges, he showcased improved striking, precise timing, and exceptional cage control. Within minutes, he found his range and capitalized on openings with clinical accuracy. The finishing sequence was a testament to Ulberg's striking prowess. A crisp combination backed Reyes to the fence, where a devastating right hand followed by a sharp left hook sealed the deal. The referee stepped in as Reyes fell to the canvas, halting the contest before further damage could be done. The emphatic knockout not only highlighted Ulberg's power but also demonstrated his ability to execute under high-stakes conditions on a major card. The MMA community immediately began speculating about Ulberg's next move. Notable names such as former double champion Henry Cejudo and respected analyst Aaron Bronsteter have already voiced their belief that Ulberg is ready for a title shot. His 9-fight win streak, combined with a growing resume of high-profile finishes, makes a compelling case for UFC matchmakers to position him at the top of the light heavyweight division. A championship bout, or at least a number 1 contender's fight, now seems inevitable. For Dominic Reyes, however, the loss is a bitter setback. Once regarded as one of the division's elite and the man who pushed Jon Jones to one of his toughest title defenses, Reyes had spent the past 2 years rebuilding his career. His 3-fight winning streak offered hope that he was back to his prime form. Unfortunately, the first-round knockout at UFC Perth interrupts that momentum and raises difficult questions about his future trajectory. While it's far from the end of his career, Reyes will likely need to reassess his strategy, recovery, and perhaps even his training approach before stepping back into the octagon. In the aftermath of UFC Perth, Carlos Ulberg stands as one of the brightest stories of the card. His victory over a seasoned contender like Dominic Reyes not only boosts his credibility but also adds excitement to a light heavyweight division in need of fresh title challengers. Whether Ulberg gets a title shot next or takes one more fight to solidify his claim, one thing is clear: he is no longer a rising prospect. He is a legitimate contender ready to challenge the division's elite. Khamzat Chimaev has finally broken his silence after footage surfaced showing him being taken down by former light heavyweight title challenger Alexander Gustafsson. The viral clip generated a storm of reactions across social media, as fans debated the implications of seeing one of the UFC's most dominant middleweights being out-wrestled. Yet when you put the situation into perspective, it becomes less surprising. Gustafsson is not only a towering light heavyweight with elite wrestling credentials but also the man who once pushed Jon Jones to the brink inside the octagon. Against someone of that size, experience, and skill level, even a powerhouse like Chimaev can be put on his back. Rather than brushing the moment aside, Chimaev addressed it head-on during a recent conversation on Adam Zubair's channel. Speaking candidly, he offered nothing but respect for Gustafsson's grappling pedigree. He praised Gustafsson's technical mastery, describing his wrestling as powerful, precise, and suffocating. According to Chimaev, every takedown and every scramble Gustafsson executes is flawless, proof of a true craftsman at work. He even went as far as calling Gustafsson a champion forever, in his eyes, emphasizing how much he has always admired the Swedish fighter. Chimaev also reflected on how Gustafsson had served as a role model throughout his own development. As a young athlete, he said he looked up to Gustafsson not just for his achievements in the cage but for his professionalism and attitude toward competition. Chimaev credited him as a source of inspiration, someone who pushed him to become a better fighter every single day. In his comments, he thanked Gustafsson for everything he had done for him personally and for the MMA community at large, calling him one of the most complete fighters in the world, equally dangerous in striking, wrestling, and transitions. Looking ahead, Chimaev now turns his focus to the next stage of his middleweight career. Reports indicate he is preparing for one of the most pivotal stretches yet, with potential matchups looming against either Nassourdine Imavov or Rainier de Ridder, RDR, in 2026. Much depends on how de Ridder performs against Brendan Allen at UFC Vancouver. Regardless of which opponent materializes, the stakes are enormous, and the entire division is paying close attention. If Chimaev faces Imavov, fans expect a high-paced, striking-heavy showdown that could light up the Octagon. If it's de Ridder, many analysts believe it would be a classic clash of styles. Chimaev's relentless wrestling and suffocating top pressure against de Ridder's slick jiu-jitsu and dangerous guard game. This hypothetical matchup has already prompted commentary from big names in the sport. Former middleweight champion Michael Bisping recently weighed in, saying he views de Ridder as the toughest possible test for Chimaev at 185 pounds. According to Bisping, aside from de Ridder, there may not be another fighter in the division with the tools to truly threaten Chimaev's dominance. For now, Chimaev's respect for Gustafsson shows both humility and maturity. At the same time, his eyes remain firmly fixed on the path to middleweight gold, where his next fight could define his legacy. UFC fans around the world are buzzing with anticipation as Alexander Volkanovski and Diego Lopes prepare to meet once again inside the Octagon. Their first clash delivered one of the most electrifying fights in recent memory, an unforgettable war of skill, heart, and strategy. Now, the stage is set for a rematch that promises to be even bigger, as both fighters have evolved since their initial meeting. This is more than just another fight. It's a showdown that could redefine the trajectory of the featherweight division. Volkanovski, the former long-reigning featherweight champion, has built his career on relentless pace, technical precision, and ironclad composure under fire. Known for his ability to adapt mid-fight and neutralize his opponent's strengths, the Australian superstar is eager to reassert his dominance. His first encounter with Lopes showed flashes of brilliance but also underscored the challenges posed by the Brazilian's unorthodox style. For Volkanovski, this rematch represents not only an opportunity for redemption but also a chance to remind the world why he's regarded as one of the greatest featherweights of all time. Diego Lopes, on the other hand, enters the rematch with momentum and confidence. The Brazilian standout shocked the MMA world during their first bout, pushing Volkanovski to the limit and earning widespread respect for his skill and fearlessness. Lopes has since sharpened his arsenal, blending world-class jiu-jitsu with improving striking and cardio. His rise from underdog to elite contender has been nothing short of remarkable, and a second fight with Volkanovski offers the chance to cement his place among the division's elite. What makes this rematch particularly compelling is the contrast in styles. Volkanovski's disciplined, high-volume striking and wrestling-heavy clinch game will again be tested against Lopes' fluid submissions and dangerous scrambles. The first fight showed that Lopes can handle the pace and pressure, but also highlighted the areas where Volkanovski's experience gave him the edge. Now both fighters have had time to study, adjust, and come back with new strategies. Beyond the technical intrigue, there is also a narrative of legacy and opportunity. For Volkanovski, a victory would reaffirm his position as a perennial title threat and potentially set up another championship run. For Lopes, a win over a legend of the division could propel him into title contention and establish him as a household name. The stakes could not be higher, and the featherweight division is watching closely to see who emerges victorious. Fans and analysts alike are predicting fireworks. The rematch carries the potential to be a fight of the year contender, with both men motivated to prove something significant. UFC executives are also aware of the bout's magnitude, positioning it as one of the marquee matchups on the upcoming card. Whether it ends in another grueling decision or a dramatic finish, one thing is certain: Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes 2 will deliver a spectacle worthy of the hype. The MMA world is heating up as Merab Dvalishvili responds to Corey Sandhagen's recent comments ahead of their highly anticipated clash at UFC 320. Scheduled as the co-main event on October 4th, this bout has captured the attention of fans and analysts alike, with two of the bantamweight division's most dangerous fighters set to collide. Corey Sandhagen, known for his creative striking and technical precision, recently dismissed Dvalishvili's claims that he may opt to strike rather than rely on his relentless wrestling. Speaking to the media, Sandhagen called the idea a mistake, even jokingly warning Dvalishvili not to abandon the style that has made him successful. "If that's true, it's a horrible idea. Don't do that, Merab," Sandhagen said in a recent interview. His comments sparked plenty of debate online and raised the stakes for their upcoming showdown. Merab Dvalishvili, however, has made it clear he's not intimidated. Responding to Sandhagen, the reigning bantamweight king insisted he has knockout power and that his striking is underrated. "He must know that I hit hard. He will see. If Corey can stop my takedowns, I'll knock him out," Dvalishvili declared. Although his career has been built on pressure, cardio, and world-class wrestling, Merab's willingness to threaten a striking battle adds another intriguing layer to the fight narrative. Still, Dvalishvili isn't underestimating his opponent. He acknowledged Sandhagen's versatility and fight IQ, citing his highlight reel finishes as evidence of his danger inside the cage. "Corey does a lot of things," Merab said. "Look at how he knocked out Frankie Edgar with a flying knee. Look at the spinning kick against Marlon Moraes. He's tricky. He's smart. He's dangerous everywhere." These remarks show that, despite the verbal back and forth, Dvalishvili is preparing seriously for the toughest test of his reign. As both fighters continue their preparation, fans are eager to see whether Merab will indeed stand and trade with one of the best strikers in the division, or if he'll stick to his bread and butter: relentless takedowns and suffocating top control. For Sandhagen, this fight represents an opportunity to dethrone the bantamweight king and finally cement his place as the #1 contender. For Dvalishvili, it's about proving he's more than just a wrestler and that he can neutralize one of the most dynamic strikers in the sport. In a separate storyline building toward UFC 320, Alex Pereira has also made headlines ahead of his rematch with Magomed Ankalaev. Pereira revealed that he was far from 100% healthy during their first meeting back in March, claiming he competed at only 40% of his usual capacity. With a second fight against Ankalaev on the horizon, Pereira has vowed to show the world what he can do at full strength. This revelation adds further intrigue to an already stacked card, making UFC 320 one of the year's most highly anticipated events. With Dvalishvili vs Sandhagen and Pereira vs Ankalaev on the same card, UFC 320 promises to deliver high-stakes drama, technical mastery, and potentially career-defining performances for all four fighters involved. Rarely does a week go by without Sean Strickland making headlines, and this time the controversy involves an unexpected opponent, online wealth coach Derek Moneyberg. The feud between the outspoken former UFC middleweight champion and Moneyberg has reached a breaking point, with Moneyberg now announcing that he intends to sue Strickland over what he calls defamatory remarks and malicious falsehoods. For those unfamiliar with him, Derek Moneyberg has gained notoriety online as a financial and business coach who also holds a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, awarded by Jake Shields. Moneyberg's rapid promotion to black belt after fewer than 4 years of training has raised eyebrows across the MMA and BJJ communities. While some view the achievement as extraordinary, others have questioned how it was possible, especially considering that legends like BJ Penn needed several years and intense dedication to achieve the same milestone at a much younger age. Sean Strickland has been among Moneyberg's most vocal critics. Known for his unfiltered personality and willingness to speak his mind, Strickland has repeatedly accused Moneyberg of being dishonest and exploiting fighters. He claims Moneyberg targets financially struggling UFC athletes, using their platforms to promote questionable business ventures. Strickland's criticism came to a head in a now viral video showing the two men confronting each other. In it, Strickland openly accuses Moneyberg of scamming fighters, taking advantage of their loyalty, and using lawsuits to silence dissent. He went as far as to call Moneyberg a fraud and vowed never to promote any of his services. Fast forward to the present, and Moneyberg has had enough. In a public statement, he confirmed that he is moving forward with a lawsuit against Strickland. According to Moneyberg, he has been nothing but respectful towards Strickland and has repeatedly warned him to stop spreading lies. "I've informed him and others that he is maliciously spreading false information about me and my business," Moneyberg said. He's had numerous opportunities to stop and apologize, yet he continues to spread lies. "Unfortunately, we are now at a point where the courts will decide." Moneyberg's position is clear. He believes Strickland has caused real damage to his reputation in business, and he plans to hold him accountable legally. Strickland, for his part, has not backed down. Responding to the lawsuit on social media, he welcomed the challenge and even taunted Moneyberg by suggesting a deposition involving Jake Shields. He claims fighters who worked with Moneyberg reached out to him directly, alerting him to alleged unethical practices. Strickland also hinted that Moneyberg should roll through in person and sign a waiver, a not-so-subtle invitation to settle things physically rather than in court. The situation highlights not only the volatility of online feuds but also the unique intersection of MMA, business coaching, and public perception. With Moneyberg pursuing legal action and Strickland refusing to retract his comments, this clash between the MMA star and the financial coach may soon unfold in a courtroom rather than the Octagon. Either way, the outcome could have far-reaching implications for both men's reputations.